Mark your calendars now for February 17th to the 19th, 2026. Because if you miss this, you'll be playing catch up all year. This is the future unbound. And the most important higher ed marketing and enrollment management conference of 2026. Insights EDU is taking over Fort Lauderdale, where Google, Meta, Reddit, MIQ Digital, and top institutions nationwide will pull back the curtain on what's next. Are you ready to adapt or be left behind? Insights EDU 2026 is where leaders become game changers. Register now at insightsedu.com. That's insightsedu.com. Early bird pricing ends December 15th, 2025. EdUp Experience has brought you powerful conversations with more than 400 college presidents and higher ed leaders, over 1,000 episodes and counting. Now, we're inviting you to join us in shaping the future of higher ed podcasting. For just $5.99 a month, you lock in that rate for life, but only if you sign up before December 31st, 2025. As a supporter, you'll get ad-free early access to episodes. Prices go up after December 31st, but your rate never will. Visit edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com. Click support the show and join our community today.
Welcome back, everybody. It's your time to Ed Up on the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business. This is Dr. Joe Salustio back with you on another episode. And I'm really happy to have a guest with me today who is starting something new. And I got to tell you guys, it is hard to start something new. It's hard to think up an idea. You know, I'm one of those people that sees like a super good idea and I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think of something that is somebody has gone out and impacted so many people? How come I didn't think that? Even the EdUp Experience is really Elvin's original idea. I mean, we kind of both worked it together, but he called me first. Why do I always got to be number two? Anyway, let me get out that frustration now for another time, another episode. I'll save it to myself. But when you are working to serve students and you are creating something new, exposure is really important. And as over the last 6 years, as the EdUp Experience has grown into a behemoth of a company in higher education podcasting, we appreciate very much the scrappiness of setting something up new and how to impact the industry, which is why we bring guests to the microphone to talk to you, higher ed administrators out there, about great work that's being done, and perhaps you have an interest in working with these great colleagues that we have impacting the industry. And I'm going to bring him in right now. Let me make sure I got all of his information right. Here he is. Wait, there he is. He's Dr. Donnell Butler. He's president and founder of Prelude. DB, welcome to the mic. How are you?
Oh, so happy to be here, Joe, and so excited to interact with you because in my heart, you're number one. So do not discount yourself ever, ever, ever.
On a list of one. So we'll take it. We always like to level set for our guests, DB. We somebody hasn't heard of Prelude before. So set it up for us. What is Prelude? What is the work that you're doing and who are you serving?
Yeah. So at Prelude, we basically work to create pathways to economic freedom for young people from lower income backgrounds. We do this through high quality employer embedded work-based learning experiences. In our flagship program, we partner with leading companies and schools to design and deliver high quality work-based learning experiences, oftentimes in the form of paid internships. And our goal is to accelerate talented students into purpose-filled lives that lead to economic freedom.
How does it work?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How does this work?
So let's just jump right into that.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. Okay.
Get to the meat and potatoes. Right.
Our company partners usually provide year-long paid internships where our high school students will work about 6 to 10 hours per week in high trajectory career pathways. Interns are matched with a manager, supervisor on a team across the company. They're in departments ranging from HR to finance, marketing to IT, other similar operational functions. Managers are usually assigning interns to meaningful projects, ranging from creating research-based deliverables to building new productivity tools, planning employee or community engagement events, But concurrently, what really makes the model sort of a learn and earn internship, and why we do this work, is that concurrently students take a year-long professional skills seminar aligned to their internship experience. Right? The goal is to enhance their workplace readiness and career building capabilities. So students are earning transcript credit from their school, either at the high school level or at the college level, for completing our evidence-based career-connected learning curriculum that's actually helping these students develop and reinforce durable human character skills, knowledge, agency, competencies required for success in the workplace, but also it's the same success skills they need to be lifelong learners and succeed in college. So everything about related to like dependability, conscientiousness, communication, interpersonal skills, problem solving, critical thinking is all embedded into this academic seminar course that begins when the student is being onboarded with the employer for the internship experience, because it's a year-long internship, right? So they have to start with sort of an onboarding orientation. And that's when we basically get in and start digging in and working with these students to help them begin developing some baseline essential workplace skills before they even start working with their supervisors and managers. This basically allows the intern manager to focus on getting the student up and running on a particular project or getting to understand their skills. And because a student is going to be consistently working on their skill development throughout the internship experience in the seminar, that allows the intern managers to focus on meaningful mentorship and maximizing outcomes in terms of quality of work, as opposed to dealing with sort of professional skills development. That's what we're in charge of.
Amazing.
Okay, so let's take a step back to go forward, and then I've got so many questions, because work-based learning right now, not even right now, but it's so critical.
Yeah.
And you said when you came on originally, you said you're students who may be from a lower economic background, maybe they don't think they have access to college. Tell me the story of maybe an ideal is not the right word. Typical student who might go through and work with Prelude. Is it someone who has come out of high school, or maybe has had trouble in high school but's completed and says, I'm not sure if college is for me. I do want to start working. Is it an adult student? Is it give me the student sort of type.
Yeah. So we work with what we call the mighty middle. So we'll often work with. So it all really starts with an employer partner. Everything begins there. We identify an employer partner who's interested in doing this work. And I can walk you through how that comes about, right? But when that occurs, once we determine there's an employer partner who wants to engage with a school, whether it be for community impact reasons or for other reasons, we can then build out a program for them. And then that helps us understand what their business needs are, what they're looking for in terms of the program goals, and what type of students they're looking for. At that point, then we are able to sort of say, okay, let's find some local schools that you can work with, and let's go engage with those schools. Our team, we're a team of educators. We sit down with the schools and we say, listen, we got this employer. This is what they're interested in doing. Is this of interest to you? If so, this is what we're looking for. And then we go through a process of recruiting and sometimes even helping to develop the students before they submit an application and as they go through the interview process, so that even students who are don't end up accepted into the internship still gain a lot of value from the experience.
And you said schools, or you're talking high schools?
We're talking high schools. Now, we can do this with colleges. We just haven't yet, right? So a lot of our approach is around universal design. It's one of the reasons why we've primarily partnered with employers who want to work with Title I public schools in lower income communities, because we're trying to build out a model that can work anywhere. And so from a universal design standpoint, it was very important for us to sort of say, okay, let's work at most with the folks who could benefit the most, who could gain the most economic mobility through a career-connected experience, career-connected learning experience. And so that's why we partner with those types of schools, working with students who are from lower income communities. And we tell our school partners, listen, we're not looking for the high flyers who are in the top 10, 15, 20% who are going to go to college, get a full ride. No, not those folks. We're looking for the mighty middle, the folks who are probably going to go to college, but are going to end up working. And maybe that working is going to be, too difficult for them to do while they're in college, and it's going to cause them to drop out. I mean, a lot of this is actually driven, when I think about the typical student in our program is going to be from a lower income background, first in their family to go to college. And they're going to be someone who wants to go to college, but maybe not immediately.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're afraid it's going to cost too much, or they're going to go immediately because they don't know what else to do, but they're going to go in without a sense of purpose, without a sense of passion,
Yeah.
without that sort of
Undeclared
undeclared,
yeah.
and like could easily be sidetracked. And in fact, like I could have been one of those students. Like, but in so many ways, what we're building out is what I ended up having. I
So
had
this has
a
got a personal through line for you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me walk you through that. It might be helpful because it does drive why I do all of this work. So I was born, raised South Bronx, New York, and growing up in like lower income community, Section 8 housing. I was raised by my retired grandmother. We didn't have a lot of resources.
Yep.
So I turned 14. And for me, that was the most consequential birthday that any human being can have when you're in a lower income community and you're like struggling, because that meant I got my working papers. And so I got my first job at McDonald's, and I started working part-time and in summers in fast food, manual labor jobs. And I did this basically up until I turned around 17. And at age 17, I was one of these lucky kids, very fortunate, hustle, hard work, did all smart things. And there was a program in New York City called Prefer Prep that basically takes young people who are in public schools and prepares them and places them in private schools to provide them scholarships. So I had this like good fortune opportunity, but in some ways, the real good fortune opportunity that built off of that was Prefer Prep kept working with the students once they were in these high schools. And they would offer them things like, for example, hey, we have a set of internships that you can apply for. And I applied for one of these internships, and it was a summer internship at Citibank. And that experience really opened my eyes to possibilities I hadn't even imagined. It turbocharged my trajectory, the wisdom, the support I got, the learnings I got, both in terms of college choice, but also career choice from my coworkers, from my bosses. It all combined to really change my expectations of
Let's
what I could
go.
do and how far I could go. So in a lot of ways, that's what led me. I was already on a trajectory to be my first in my family to go to college, but it was that Citibank experience that turned me into, oh, I will be the first in my family to earn a bachelor's degree. And then I left college, went off into the business world, worked for EY, which is now, back then it was called Ernst & Young.
Yep.
And that's where I discovered my true calling. Was working with EY, I worked with a lot of nonprofit clients, and I realized my true calling was in social impact. And so I eventually went on to get a PhD at Princeton. And since then, I've spent my entire career researching, implementing programs that improve college career and success. And I do this focused always on basically people like me, young people who are in underserved, under-resourced communities. And what specifically led me to sort of founding Prelude was from 2012 to 2019, I spent 7 years as a dean at Franklin and Marshall College. And I was working under the leadership of this amazing, innovative guy. His name was Dan Porterfield. He was the president at the time, now leads the Aspen Institute.
Yep.
And F&M at that time, we did some path.
Too.
Go ahead, say it.
I think he just retired.
Yeah, well, not yet. He's going to stay on until
It's
mid-2026. Let's not push him out the door yet. But yes, he has announced that he is going to be stepping back. So Aspen will be looking for a new president. And the work we did at F&M was like under his leadership was just path breaking. He brought me on in 2012, and I was able to co-lead initiatives that dramatically increased enrollment, graduation rates, 2x in terms of like students of color, 3x in terms of Pell Grant recipients. We were getting written up in the press, in books. Richard Whitmire wrote a book that like got a big section on us. We earned praise from the White House. We inspired the Bloomberg Philanthropies and a bunch of others to embark on what's known as the American Talent Initiative. That all came from that work. The thing that kept me up at night, though, and this partially because of who I am, it wasn't all the successes. It was the places where we didn't succeed. And even though it was small numbers, it was big to me because I witnessed far too many talented students from lower income communities stopping out of college early to go back home to support their families. They were leaving college with debt, no degree, no professional credentials. They weren't able to, like, I'd be on the phone with them trying to convince them to come back, and they were barely securing living wage employment. And I began to realize it wasn't just F&M. This was happening at a lot of elite institutions, and it was happening consistently at community colleges and four-year. This was the norm at a lot of places. Young people had to work and go to school at the same time. And if something happened at home, the priority was to take care of things at home.
That's right.
And so I realized we need to do something different. We needed some type of career-connected learning model that was at the center of the student experience, ideally started in high school. It needed to also exist in college. And in 2019, I was still sort of young and naive enough to think that, like, well, let me try to build out this model. Did a lot of research, started this nonprofit, and now I'm on this, like, social impact entrepreneur crazy adventure.
That's amazing, though. I mean, from ideation to applying it, you've got a small but mighty team.
Oh, yeah.
You're starting to impact. And the significance of this generally is students need choices. Like it's the traditional path of going from high school to college, and we know this is just not for everyone.
Right.
And so many of the students that it's not for have ended up in the 37 to 45 million, however you do the calculation, with over age of 65, you look at all the adult learners of students out there that have some college and no credential.
Yep.
They went to college, something happened, they left. They went to college, didn't feel they fit in, they left. They went to college, had no direction, they left. They went to college and weren't prepared for college, which we're seeing from COVID kids now, and left. So the idea, and I'm summarizing here, is I'm graduating high school. I could go right to college, but I'm just not sure. I do like to work. I do like to earn money. Maybe I have some family considerations. I have this opportunity to go on a year-long paid internship with X company in manufacturing or whatever it might be, and earn a living and be prepared for a professional environment beyond this internship. So whatever I do after this, whether it's go to college, maybe the employer hires me and I go to college later, I'm now prepared mentally, probably more than anything, for what comes afterwards. Do I have that about right?
Not only do you have that about right, but one of the things that is very valuable about this is it can go in so many different directions. Some of our students decide after the internship, and largely because they're interacting with peers and building these professional relationships and these social networks, and they're working with people who are basically telling them, oh, you know what? You're smarter than I was in high school. You could go to college, right? And so some of the folks who are like not really sure about going to college then decide to go. But the good news is they're going with a sense of purpose. They're going, part of our curriculum is designed to help them basically think about career exploration as a lifelong journey. And so one of the things they have to do before they leave is to build out a portfolio that's planning to align their career trajectory, their professional goals with continual post-secondary learning goals. So even if you're going to go straight into a job or you're going to go to college, if you're going to go to college, what classes are you going to take? If you're going to go straight into a job, what's your plan to become a manager one day? Right? So what are the things that you're going to do? Are you gonna go to a technical school for a year? Are you gonna get some certifications? Like, the goal is always to get our young people thinking about, okay, when I finish this program, what's next? How can I continue to level up throughout my career?
That it's good because, by the way, there's probably students that get into an internship and at the end go, you know what, I thought I wanted to be an X, but I think I want to be a Y now.
That happens a lot.
Because I just got in there and I saw what's, maybe it's, I didn't like parts of this job that I thought I would like, and now I know I'm going to go, I want to be an accountant instead.
I'm glad you said that. That happened to me.
Yeah?
When I went to Citibank, I became an accountant after, I didn't know what accounting was going into that role, and so I go to college and I decide, well, I'm going to concentrate in accounting.
That's pretty cool. I mean, when you think about it, and the biggest part of it is for higher education, as an industry? I mean, you'd look at this on its face and go, "Wow, are you disrupting the pipeline to college?" No, you're enhancing the pipeline to college, and there are so many of the students sort of in that middle that you talked about that will decide to take a gap year, maybe decide not to go to college, and then the question is always, what did they do? Where did they go? What happened? And we're seeing, and you know this, we're seeing workforce Pell now become a thing. We're seeing the administration right now put a large focus on work, on return on investment, on making smart college decisions. And you go, and is an 18-year-old always going to make a smart decision? Well, an 18-year-old with a year's worth of salary under them might make a smarter decision.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
that's
somebody
it.
that knows how to manage their money
Yes.
and pay some bills. So there's so many ancillary benefits to this, but I think the biggest one is probably you're capturing students that may not have made it to college in a prepared way, and you're preparing them for the future.
If you think you can coast into 2026, think again. Insights EDU is coming February 17th to the 19th, 2026, and it's taking over Fort Lauderdale for a beachfront experience. It's the event that will flip your marketing and enrollment strategy on its head. 3 days, over 65 expert speakers, and over 40 sessions. Zero fluff. Just powerhouse strategies from the most anticipated platforms like Google, Reddit, Meta, MIQ Digital, and the most forward-thinking schools in the nation. You'll get the real wins, the bold ideas, and the hands-on tactics to grow programs, drive engagement, and create the student experience today's modern learner demands. The question is, are you ready to lead, or will you get left behind? Mark your calendar, bring your team, and secure your spot at insightsedu.com. That's insightsedu.com. Early bird pricing ends December 15, 2025. See you in Fort Lauderdale. Support the EdUp experience for just $5.99 a month and lock in that rate for life. You'll get ad-free early access to episodes. But hurry, price goes up after December 31st, 2025. Visit edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com and click support the show.
Undoubtedly. And one of the things in what you shared just now, Joe, is that sometimes people will misinterpret what we do, especially since I came out of higher education. So I'll be in rooms sometimes with other higher education folks, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you were on this trajectory to do X, Y, and Z, and now you're like tracking kids into job training. And I'm like, whoa, you need to slow your roll. Like, we're not tracking anyone. The students choose to participate, and this internship experience does exactly what you described, Joe. It helps them actually make more informed choices about their future. It doesn't narrow their future at all. And so a student will intern, in an HR department or an accounting department, decides they love it or don't love it, but that's still, either way, it's a valuable outcome. They're not locked in. They get to explore, and they get guidance throughout that entire process. And it's not this false dichotomy. This is not like turning high school into job training. These students are still taking calculus, English, history, all their core courses. This is basically an elective course, and it's a work-based learning experience. Academic learning and career exploration aren't mutually exclusive. Our curriculum is pretty rigorous. The internship and the seminar earn them credit, and it's not replacing academics. It's an addition to. And so in a lot of ways, what we're really trying to do is we're trying to bridge this gap that has existed between education and employment that shouldn't. For students from families from professional backgrounds, they automatically get this bridge. It's their parents, it's their family friends, it's the summer opportunities they get that they can get for free because they don't need to make money. But for students who are in our communities that we're working with, they don't have those networks. They need to get paid. And now, so we're creating that bridge. So in some ways, I would argue that career-connected learning makes academic learning more relevant. It's more tangible, and it becomes more sticky in terms of what we've seen in terms of how durable skills the students develop. They will stick better under these circumstances than when we've tried to implement just a class on durable and human skills. Without the work-based learning component, these students don't really develop these skills and hold on to them in the ways that are going to help them throughout their college career and life.
Tell them like it is.
I love this model, and I can see why. I can see how you could be a college recruiter and go, you know what? I'm competing with these guys. They're taking these students in these work-based learning programs, and I want them at my university. And then the smart recruiter goes, we need them next year too. And next year they're not going to drop out at a rate of 60%. They're gonna have the work-based learning preparedness, and the retention rate is probably much higher for a student who's mentally prepared. At the same time, do you have to partner with colleges on the backside? Right, you partner with
sometimes we do. So, for example, at Central Piedmont Community College, they're the ones who provide the credit for the internship program that we do in Charlotte.
The credit's so valuable to the student that gets through. They want to transfer it somewhere, right?
Right. Also, the reality is, like, I love the sort of competition angle because I struggle with this a lot, Joe. There's way too much capacity in this space for people to worry about that. So first of all, only 2% of high school students get internships. Like, it's not like work-based learning and career-connected learning is like, is it growing? Yes. Does the current administration talk more about it? Yes. But it's like so tiny. The problem is there's a massive undersupply. There's not enough programs. There's not enough schools doing this. There's not enough colleges doing this. Yep. So many colleges that I've interacted with to help us build some of the aspects of our model. The reality is, for a lot of colleges, this is just something that's hard to do. It's hard to partner with employers. Yep. It's hard to build relationships with employers. And it's hard for schools to do the same thing. Part of, I think, what has become our secret sauce and what we are trying to build a model around and then over time share it with others is how you reduce the risks, reduce the frictions to get employers excited about this. And so for me, I would love it if one day, not just every high school is doing this, and this is just proliferate. That's not even a word, Joe. But this is as common as the AP, but colleges are doing it too. And not just relying on, hey, we got a career services office, and students are going to use the career services office, and it's going to go help them get a job, not recognizing that a lot of your lower income students, they already have a job, so they're not going to your evening career services programming because they're already working 20 hours a week or more off campus somewhere. So they're not taking advantage of that. They can't afford the fraternity and sorority life to build the social networks so that they are able to get opportunities that don't come up, right? And so, like, we have to do more. And so I don't view this as competition at all, even though I will say some of my co-conspirators do. And it's like, no, we're in this together. There's like a lot of need out there, and the rising tide has to lift all boats or our country's in trouble.
Well, I also think that for so many of those students, you're embedding learning in them for that year. They'll be more likely to experiment with higher education coming out of a work-based learning program.
Oh, yes.
You're building in the learning from the beginning. It's enhancing the pipeline for higher education.
Truth.
Right?
We've got some amazing students. You know what we haven't thought about doing? And now you're giving me some ideas. We have some amazing students. Now, look, many of them are seniors. So they're already, like, by the time they're halfway in the program, they're starting to get, they're applying to college, and they're going to get their results probably by, 2/3 of the way through the program. But some of our students are juniors. But even our students who are seniors, I tell you, looking at the results that we get from our students who complete the program, I would think any college in the country would be thrilled to have a set of students who end up with the skills. We have a validated skills rubric that both the instructor and their intern manager, supervisor grades them on. And if you've got young people coming to your college who have the ability to be dependable, they've got time management, so they're conscientious, they've got good communication skills, they're able to learn how to learn, they've got the metacognition, and they've got a track record of having done quality work in a real world experience.
Super valuable.
That's who every college wants.
And every college right now needs, as we watch the news of colleges cutting staff and faculty and right-sizing their institutions because of declining enrollment. And it's programs like this that are going to help rebuild higher education's value. And I think that, it's really brilliant what you're doing. Tell me really quickly, where are you on your growth trajectory? You're sort of nascent and you're starting out. Are you going to, are you in the middle of the journey? Are you ready to expand and scale? Where are you in your journey?
I would put us at the ready to expand and scale, but I am a go slow to go fast person. So when we started,
that's the academic in you.
Ain't that the truth? When we started in this particular model, because we tried out a lot of different models very early on to see which one would be the biggest win for our students, our employer partners, and our school partners. And it was this learn and earn internship model that was the biggest win for everyone. And when we first started that out, it was with 27 students was in our first cohort. That was in 2022. For this current school year, we're working with 95 students.
Nice.
Across 4 employer partners in 5 cities, 8 different high schools. And so the way I view it, I think a good trajectory for us, because for me, it's really important. I don't just want to grow. I want to scale with high quality, high outcomes.
And you want to be embedded. You don't want to just try a pilot somewhere. You want somebody that's going to be with you because you need to prove this over.
That's it, Joe. We want to, because we really, I want to change the system.
Yeah.
I want to one day, frankly, be able to retire and Social Security be there for me. Right. And so what does that mean? We need a lot of young people in the workforce making money.
Taxes.
Right. And so for that to happen, this can't just be Prelude doing this. Right. Like, this can't just be high schools doing it. Colleges are going to have to go, well, we've got this demographic cliff, and the one way that we can retain more students is by building these type of programs in, so that students come here knowing you may come in year 1 undeclared, but by the end of year 1, or at least by the end of year 2, you've had some work-based learning experiences. You know what you want to do. You know the contribution that you can make to the world. And so for us to get there and prove out this model, I think we probably need to grow about 2 to 4 employers per year for the next 2 to 3 years. Probably get up to around right at 95 now, probably up to 200 to 300 students in about 2 to 3 years, and have this model so tight. And we're getting there. Like, we're really big on codifying things and writing up playbooks and continuously iterating and listening to our employer partners and school partners who give us feedback on how we can better reduce the risk, reduce the friction, increase the outcomes. And we're always surveying our students, and we've recently started surveying our alumni to sort of make this model so good that it can be replicable so that other organizations can take on this work.
Yeah, and to be able to, I'm sure you track it, but how many students that finished their internship and went on to a university, and how many got a job? I mean, what a great thing for a student to come out and continue working and have that employer potentially pay for them to go to college, right? I mean, that's an ideal situation.
And that's the way it can be, right? A lot of our employer partners, they have opportunities for their workers to get tuition reimbursement, to do on-the-job training that's going to get them a certification, right? These things sort of already exist. The challenge in our current system is that we're not collaborating with each other to leverage it and to motivate each other to make it happen. I fear that it's a little bit too much competition. I fear that people feel like, well, if I win, if I lose, somebody else is going to win. Like, I win, somebody's no, there's too much need. We all need to be going at this together.
Gosh, if I was at college right now, I'd be going to you going, if you can get this going in my area, I'll take the credit. Let's work together to identify an employer, bring in Prelude, help you build my pipeline, because you're going to give me more college ready students a year from now.
That's it.
And literally say anybody who completes that program with you, I'm going to give them X amount of credit based on your model, 6, 9, whatever it is, and build that in so that I'm taking You know, it could enhance my class by 10%. It could enhance my class by 20%. It could bring me back to life in areas where I might be struggling, and make me more impactful and relevant in my region, because now I'm bringing in a partner to help me connect with local businesses that I don't have the resources myself. I can't staff this right now.
Right.
You know, how am I supposed to create work-based learning? That's a lot of work. Right. So, you know, you've got this double-sided marketplace almost, and you've got the second side of that market, higher education, really, really needs it. We need students that have some. Gosh, you know, you're making me think like you're reversing the thing on me. I know you said you worked in radio, and you're bringing up all these old feelings in me, because I had zero direction when I went to college. I would have loved to go and do like a work-based learning program. Now, I was privileged enough. My parents said, "You're going to college." And for 2.5 years, I had no idea what I was going to do. And the only reason I picked the major I picked is because I felt it was the easiest to achieve. That's the only reason I picked it.
Wow.
And it's in speech communications, which means I have a BS in BSing. And that's all. and now I'm using it now, but I had nothing. I didn't, you know, I wanted to work so bad. I wanted to get out of college and just go to work. And I thrived in the workplace, but I did not thrive in a college setting.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's so much value to something like this.
I think a lot of students begin to thrive more in an academic setting when they've had a work-based learning experience, in part because what occurs is that they begin to realize, oh, now I understand this thing, whether it be algebra, whether it be being able to make a distinction between why Shakespeare did this versus that. Like, oh, I can use this stuff that I'm learning in the classroom, and I can actually apply it to something that actually matters, as opposed to an esoteric thing that doesn't seem to have any value to me.
Also, the pressure, the good pressure of the employer situation.
Yes.
Where I got to learn this because some customer or somebody's, you know, I'm more focused versus I've got to sort of move from course to course, and maybe I'll study later tonight.
And there are stakes, right? Like it's weird. One of the things we partner with our partners in such a way that, like, we get them to understand, okay, these are not 25-year-olds with master's degrees coming in for entry-level jobs. These are 16, 17, 18-year-olds coming in for internships. However, that doesn't mean that we can't, one, prepare them to actually be able to do meaningful work for you. And it also means this becomes a great avenue for your team to, like, manager development, for example. So a lot of our partners begin this work thinking of it like social impact.
Yeah.
Right? They want to serve the community. And they're like, oh, this is great. We get like 15 local students. They're going to earn professional skills. They're going to maybe go off to college or maybe come to us, whatever, but they're going to earn some money. And that's a story that our community can rally around. And like, but one of the things that we've found is that this work has become sustainable. So not only have we had 100% partnership renewals from employers and schools year over year, we've had growth from these employer partners year over year. And one of the things that we've built into the program is learning and development for individual contributors who are potentially emerging leaders, but these companies don't necessarily have the head count for them to hire somebody for them to manage and give them that experience. So these high school interns are that opportunity. And so we're able to provide this learning and development support and workshops and resources for these intern managers. And in our surveys, the managers will tell us, you know, they are leveraging this experience for their own professional development, and they are looking at this as a pathway for promotions and retaining in their company. And from the employee engagement standpoint, it's off the charts. Folks who enter this program wanting to be intern managers is because they want to mentor. They want to give back. They've got skills. They don't want to just do cleanup on Earth Day. They don't want to just do a food drive. They want to take their skills and do skills-based volunteerism. They want to basically work with young people to do the things that my boss at Citibank and my did for me. You know, everybody sort of wants to be a role model and make that difference in a young person's life. And this is a great employee engagement way of doing that.
I love it. With every episode, we ask two final questions, DB. One,
we're already at the final questions. I'm so sad, Jim.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? I podcast every day for an hour a day. And I would go longer on every one if I could, because
if you're doing an hour a day, no, I don't get to do this every day. But,
yeah, it's so good.
But you have a BS and BS, so you can do this. You have the stamina for this.
I could keep going forever, my friend. It just doesn't stop coming out of me. The BS. No, I mean, it's important work. It is. This is important work that not only helping to revitalize, and catalyze, I guess would be the better word, the lives of young people, exposing them to work, better preparing them for the future, but it is giving students another choice and pathway. It's, for those students to go into higher education and succeed, it's helping to restore the promise of what higher education has to deliver. It's probably filling some learning gaps that COVID created right now. I mean, there's so many other things that this program is solving. What else do you want to say about Prelude? Give you an open mic, sort of.
I think if folks have been listening to this, I want them to get involved. Doesn't necessarily have to be with Prelude. Develop a mentor mindset and mentor a young person. And if you don't know what a mentor mindset is, David Yeager's got a book out. I think it's called 10 to 25 is the actual title of the book. It's a great way of getting started thinking about what it means to mentor young people, as opposed to the other ways in which we sometimes treat young people, which I think does a disservice to them. It's really important, and our program is an example of this. And a lot of this I learned in working in higher ed and working with folks like Tia Brown McNair at AAC&U, thinking about inclusive excellence. We need our young people to have essentially high expectations. Like the soft bigotry of low expectations and us not expecting much of them hurts them.
Yep.
But we need to give them high support too. We can't just say, we've got high expectations of you, and if you can't meet my high expectations and I'm not going to support you, then you're out. So we can't do the whole organic chemistry, 100 students in the first semester and only 10 leave. We've got to do both. And there's a way around that, which means having a mentoring mindset where you really want to have young people develop. So learn about that. If you're interested in some of the stuff that I talked about in terms of work-based learning experiences and career-connected learning, easiest thing to do, visit our website, joinprelude.org. You can learn about our model. You can see our outcomes, our annual reports up. Reach out to us about partnership opportunities. If you're an employer thinking about building a high school internship program, a college leader thinking about building pipeline partnerships with employers, someone just wants to know the model better, just reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And, and Joe, you all run a great podcast. So if folks hear this, share it with someone in your network. Share this podcast episode, especially to business leaders who care about talent development and community impact, and to school leaders and college leaders who care about developing our next generation of leaders. Share this episode. Let's get the conversation going.
Yeah, the easiest thing to do, joinprelude.org is the website. Check it out. It's a really great website, gives you great information on how to get started. And if you want to partner with Prelude, so I can't say it.
Prelude. You can say Prelude.
That would be a great place to start. Learning and earning. We talk about it in higher ed all the time. We talk about it all the time, and it becomes lip service for most. This is making it a reality, which is incredible. And so we leave you with the last question, DB. What do you see for the future of higher education?
We have a lot of work to do. I mean, we've got a demographic cliff. There's a lot of uncertainty I work with a lot of young people, and there's a lot of uncertainty in these communities regarding the value of college. And I think my example, summer internship at Citibank, going to college, going off into the business world, getting a PhD, that is a rarity, in fact, when you think about where I'm from and an experience I had growing up. But what happened to me should be the norm, and it can be.
Right.
It just basically means that we need to make sure these kind of opportunities, whether it be work-based learning opportunities, career-connected learning opportunities, we have to make sure that they're available, not out of luck or family privilege. It's got to be available. Every young person deserves exposure to what's possible and the support to get there. And I actually know from the work we've done, when we design systems that work for students who have the most to gain, and we design these systems in ways that allow employers to benefit, to meet their business needs, schools to benefit, to build the peer effects and the programming that allows them to see their students thrive. When we do this, everybody wins. The students win, the employers win, the schools win, the communities win, and ultimately our country will win. So I'm optimistic.
I love optimism, man. I love it. And I'm glad that we leave it on that note. Everybody, you are here in the place to be with DB. And I'm JOE, and this is the EDUP. That just came out of nowhere.
I love it.
But I do love it, and I love the work that you're doing, DB, and I really encourage everybody to check it out. I was, really blown away when I did the research about the model, because I think more people need to know about these earn and learn models because we talk about them. It's time to put them into practice. So we appreciate you and your small but mighty team that is impacting students today. Ladies and gentlemen, he is an energetic man. He has this company that's going to now scale and do amazing things around us, so keep an eye on them. He is Dr. Donnell Butler. He is the founder of Prelude and president. And you know what you've done? You've just EdUp'd.
Attention, higher leaders. It's time to shake up your marketing and enrollment strategy. Join us at Insights EDU, February 17th to the 19th, 2026 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for a beachfront experience and the best higher education marketing and enrollment management conference. Early bird pricing ends December 15th, 2025. Register now at insightsedu.com. The future unbound is at Insights EDU 2026. The EdUp experience has delivered over 1,000 episodes with higher ed leaders from around the world. Now you can support the show for just $5.99 a month and lock in that rate for life when you join before December 31st, 2025. You'll enjoy ad-free early access to episodes. Go to edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com. Click support the show and secure your lifetime rate today.